Most people in life are looking for how do I make a life worth living and a retirement worth having. When I'm sitting here in the relatively quiet morning hours waiting for a shop to open so I can buy some food for my life, I'm looking at how many people walk by a homeless person and don't want to help them. Now, there's two types of people in poverty, or possibly three, maybe more. But what I know about the people in this community from a year's worth of interactions with men who are similar to me but nothing like me is that most of them forget that I've fed them once or twice, meaning that a part of my food ministry, I've shared with them food. A lot of them like to walk by me and try and monkey with me. A lot of them like to solicit me when I'm on the telephone. A lot of them like to overhear, or what we call eavesdrop, when I'm on my phone, and I don't like that. I come from an industry, I come from a race, I come from a people, I come from a place, I come from a demographic that is not acceptable. And I come from a place that says you don't go up and presume that you have a right to someone's cell phone. A girl at the Circle K on campus did that to me once, and I was the first person to call her fucking company president. Because I'm on the telephone trying to secure a job, talking about something that I've been hired to do that I'll get paid for later, and she's literally thinking that I'm talking about her life. Well, maybe something resonated with her that I said, but she should have kept her mouth shut, and she was outside the store having a smoke break. Whether it was her lawful smoke break or not, that's not for me to say. I would have no way to know in any way. But what she did was solicit me and insult me and then try to throw me out of her place when I hadn't even been in yet to make my purchase. Now, when I'm telling this story, I'm sort of beginning the new productions that I'm planning, which is to do scenes from a homeless person's life. Now, my scenes from my life are going to be different from your scenes from your life. But you know what the little players on campus, the little black bastards of Satan, will do? Is that they'll come up and they'll try and use the scenes of my life already to try and play at me, to try to create an affinity with me. That's not how you create affinity with people. It's a immoral act what you do to me. But when I'm talking about scenes, it really wasn't the original purpose of the title scenes. But I've been asked by somebody pretty high up in the world to make some scenes so that people start to understand homelessness, help them to understand poverty that they could face not only now in a time of COVID, but marvelously later in a time of elderly years, because they didn't plan enough for their life, they didn't put enough aside, and they're struggling with getting the fact that they have food insecurities. Now, if I'm sort of imperfect in my audio cast, that's okay. I don't have to be perfect every single day. But what I know about people is that they don't always like to play right, they don't always like to fly right, and they like to monkey with people. And that's an abomination to the Lord. You have one life to live. Figure out what God has gifted you as a great skill, and I promise you it's not lying, thieving, or cheating people out of their life. Figure out what you can really do in terms of your own work to make a living, and go do that with all hard-heartedness of appraisement of the Lord.